It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for our beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Hello, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together today. I was wondering if you would know what this may be. It has metal rods and beads. This looks like a random toy, but it's actually a tool to help people do math. This is called an abacus, and it was invented hundreds of years ago in another continent called Europe. Can you say abacus? Let me show you how it works. If I want to add 2 and 3, I can slide them together and count them. Do you know how many beads there are? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These higher beads are used for higher numbers like 10, 20, 30, or 100, 200, 300. So this number would be 335. Today we have lots of fancy things to help us do math, like calculators or cell phones or computers. But when this was invented, it was high tech. Improving ideas and making things better is called progress. Have you ever heard that word before? Progress? There has been lots of progress in my neighborhood, and I would like to share some of it with you today. Did you ever wonder what it's like to run a restaurant? I know, I sure do. I bet it must be hard to be around all that delicious smelling food all day without wanting to eat it all. I was wondering if you'd like to visit a new restaurant that opened in my neighborhood back in September. It's called Brakeman's Cafe, and it's located on Washington Street right across from the local railroad yard. Why don't you come along with me and see how some nice people are making progress in my neighborhood? Hi, are you the owner?
I am. My name's Tracy O'Connor.
Hi, I'm Mr. Rogers, and these here are my television neighbors.
Hi, neighbors.
Wow, this place sure is neat.
Oh, thanks.
What was this place before you bought it?
It was a garage built around 1900.
What did you have to do to turn this place into a restaurant?
We had to totally gut it, take all of the plaster off the walls, put new electric and plumbing and HVAC. We had to take it from a garage to a commercial restaurant.
Who did all the work and how much did it cost?
Well, it cost way more than we wanted it to, and here are all our contractors. My husband designed it, and then we had all of our local contractors. Phil Walters, our general contractor. Conrad was electric. Jody Saylor was plumbing, so we used local people to renovate the building.
You have a lot of unique furniture here. Where did you get that from?
So my husband, Tom, is very crafty. He took this, for instance, is an old industrial cart that he turned into a counter for me. These are old furniture clamps that he turned into shelves. He built the tables out of wood and metal. He even made that specials board behind you so that we can change it every day. We just pull the paper down and then write the news specials on it.
Oh, and I even see you have some old wiring up there.
So when we renovated, the insulators and the knob and tube was there. We had to take it down because it's not to code, but Tom thought it would be neat to reinstall it. It's not live, it's just for looks, to give it that old-fashioned, authentic look.
What type of food do you offer here?
We have a small kitchen, so our menu is limited, but everything's homemade. We have sandwiches and salads and soups. We try and source as much as we can from local vendors. We get a lot of our breads from Fracons. Our lettuce is from Butter Valley Farms out in Bechtelsville. We get some produce from Fracons and Trout Run Farm. We get our milk from Long Acres, and we get our cider from Bauman's.
Who prepares all the food here?
So I have a staff of about 5 in the kitchen, and my mom is back there now. This is Sharon. Sharon's back here cooking today. And I have 3 other people that help in the kitchen.
Can you show me around a little?
Sure, there's not too much to the place, but the restrooms are in here, and the kitchen and all the storage are around that way.
Wow. How was the response from the community?
The community's been great. From the day we opened, we've been busy and keep getting busier. We're actually putting an expansion on for more dining area. And it'll fit about 24 more people, have a laptop bar for people to come in and have a cup of coffee and chill out with their laptop.
Thank you so much for showing me and my television neighbors around. It truly has been wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Would you like to try a cold brew nitro coffee?
That would be wonderful.
There you go. Enjoy it.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, and I wish you continued success with your business.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
I'm going to take this with me. Wasn't that restaurant great? It is so nice in there, and the owners were so friendly. I can't wait to go back there and try some of their delicious food. I wonder who that could be.
Speed delivery, Mr. Rogers.
Ah, Mr. McFeely. I thought it was you from that fast knocking.
Well, I've got to stay on time. Speed delivery.
Well, would you like to stay for a bit?
For a little bit, I could. Oh, I have a package for you, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, I was hoping it would be this. I had just ordered this yesterday, and since I have Amazon Prime, they mailed it overnight.
That's right, speed delivery.
Oh, wow. Look at these, boys and girls. Now this is progress. I won't have to tie my sneakers anymore.
Now that's progress.
It sure is. While you're here, I was wondering if you might be able to help me, Mr. McFeely.
Well, I could sure try.
I've been wanting to start doing some motivational speaking on the side to make extra money, and I was wondering if you knew any place that could help me design some direct mail marketing for me.
Well, lucky for you, I know just the place. Everything Printing just moved in down the street from you.
Everything Printing? I don't recognize that name.
Well, they opened in Bechtelsville in 2004 as Everything Postal. In 2010, they changed the name to Everything Printing, and in August of 2019, they moved to 1145 East Philadelphia Avenue.
Oh, I remember them. So they no longer do shipping?
Luckily for me, they don't. I already have enough competition, Mr. Rogers. Speed delivery. Well, would you like to check them out? I'm heading that way. You could ride with me on my trike.
That would be great, Mr. McFeely. That is, if you don't mind. You know I love progress in the neighborhood.
I know, Mr. Rogers. Speed delivery.
Oh, hello, Mr. McFeely.
Hello, Lee. This is Mr. Rogers and his television friends.
Oh, hi, Mr. Rogers. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet your friends.
This is Lee Levingood, the owner of Everything Printing. Mr. Rogers would like to start doing motivational speaking and would like to do direct mail marketing to help him get gigs.
Well, we can certainly help you with that. Do you have any ideas what you would like to have on your advertising?
Yes. I have some ideas down on this piece of paper.
Well, let's take a look. It looks like you have some great ideas here. We can work with this. We'll come up with something for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, this place is big. What was here before you moved in?
Well, just prior to us, it was a dance studio. Before that, a lot of people remember it as Ott's Autobahn Model Shop.
Why did you decide to move here from Bechtelsville?
Well, like you said, it's big, and we needed a lot more space. This store is actually 2.5 times the size of what we previously worked out of.
What did you need to do to get this place ready for your business?
Well, I'm trying to forget about all of that. It did cost a lot, about 1 month's worth of our sales. And the time frame, it took us about 1.5 months to get everything ready here. And then all in one day, over a weekend, we moved everything in and we were open again on Monday.
What services do you provide here?
Well, we're mostly a printer that prints on paper, like flyers. We do a lot of mailings, like postcards and brochures, business cards, and then we also do signs and banners and other printed materials.
Can you show me around a little?
I'd be happy to show you around. This is our main area where we do most of our work. We have 3 full-time and 1 part-time employees, plus myself. We have a lot of equipment. We have equipment that does blueprints and engineering copies for our local contractors. We have a machine that prints a lot of color copies, a lot of black and white copies. We do large posters and prints, as well as yard signs. And then we have machines like paper cutter to cut postcards, and a machine that prints envelopes, a machine that stuffs envelopes, paper folding to punching holes, spirals, GBC, booklet maker that makes the programs for the football team, and then we have a wide format laminator, so we can do a lot of different things in the shop.
Well, Mr. Rogers, I better get you home. I have a schedule to keep. Speed delivery.
Take some time to think about the design and let us know if you'd like any changes. When you're ready, just let us know and we'll print them up and we'll give them to Mr. McFeely to delivery.
I'm looking forward to the design. Thank you very much, Mr.
You're welcome.
Levengood.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Rogers.
Have a good day.
Bye, Mr. McFeely.
Bye.
That was really nice of Mr. McFeely to take me to that printing shop to design my advertisements. You know, I tried to make my own advertisements using a box of crayons, but I kept making mistakes and getting frustrated. Did you ever make a mistake? Maybe you got the wrong answer on a test at school, or you forgot an important ingredient in something you were baking and it didn't come out right. How did it make you feel? Not good, I'm sure, but it is important to remember that everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes we learn valuable lessons from our mistakes. Let's have some make-believe. Our friend Daniel Tiger has been wondering what happens to people who make mistakes. Let's see if Lady Aberlin can help him with his curiosity. Do you know what that word means? Curiosity? It means to have questions about something, like how I had questions how to make an advertisement. Take us to the neighborhood of make-believe, Trolley.
Hi, Trolley. You too, Trolley. Huh, Daniel? Why do you look so sad?
I made a bad mistake, and I'm worried that I might be in trouble.
What mistake did you make, Daniel?
Do you promise not to tell anyone if I tell you?
I may have to tell someone if it'll help you, Daniel. You will feel better once you share your mistake with me.
Okay, Lady Aberlin. I forgot to turn in my library book, and it's already a week overdue. Will I be in trouble with the police?
Oh, Daniel, you won't be in trouble with the police for that. You may have to pay a fine to the library, but if you return your book as soon as possible and apologize for your lateness, they may forgive you and just give you a warning.
Do you really think so, Lady Aberlin?
I do, Daniel.
That makes me feel much better. Lady Aberlin?
Yes, Daniel?
What bad things would I have to do for the police to put me in jail?
The police don't go around trying to put people in jail, Daniel. They spend much of their time serving and protecting people. People like you and me, and King Friday the 13th, and Prince Tuesday.
And even Lady Elaine Fairchild?
Yes, even Lady Elaine. You know what? Do you want to go to the police station and meet the police chief? They just moved into a new station in May of 2019, and you can go and find out all the good things they do there, Daniel.
I would like that very much, Lady Aberlin.
Charlie, can you take us to the police station? It's located at 16 West Philadelphia Avenue.
Hello, I'm Chief Leatherman. Can I help you folks?
Yes, hello. I'm Lady Aberlin, and this is my friend Daniel Tiger. Daniel wanted to know what the police did in the police station.
Well, Lady Aberlin, Daniel, it's very nice to meet you both, and I'd be happy to show you around the police station. We can walk around, you can see anything you want to see, we can sit down and talk a while. You're welcome to ask me any questions that you have, and I'll try to tell you a little bit about what the police officers do.
That'd be great, thank you.
Sure, let's go.
Wow, this room is pretty big. What goes on in here?
Well, this is what we call the patrol room, and this is where the officers all have their desks and work areas and computers, and the officers oftentimes will come back here to make phone calls, do their reports, the paperwork, kind of tie up loose ends like that from the things that they're working on throughout their shift.
Isn't this police station brand new? What made you want to move here?
Yes, it is brand new. It was just last May that we moved in here, so it's almost a year now. There were a lot of reasons why we wanted to move to a new police station. We had a very small space in Borough Hall where the police department used to be located. We shared one floor of the building with the borough's administrative offices, and it just wasn't enough room. A lot of times people will ask me why you need so much room, because there aren't really that many people working in the building at one time for the amount of space that there is. But there are a lot of things that go on, a lot of different kinds of things that we do, a lot of different functions. And the space that we had just didn't accommodate all those functions very well, and it wasn't comfortable or safe in a lot of ways for people like you who would come in to visit us for different reasons.
How did you acquire this property?
National Penn Bank, if you remember that name, was a very large regional bank, a big banking institution that was headquartered in Boyertown for many years. And the bank had about 5 different buildings and about 250 people employed outside of just what you think of as the bank. Well, when National Penn Bank first moved its corporate headquarters out of Boyertown and then eventually merged with and was acquired by BB&T, which is what you see here now, they had some positions that were lost to Boyertown, jobs moved out, and some buildings were vacated. And one of the things that they did with some of those buildings was gave them to organizations in the community, and we were one of them. So that was, it was sad, and it was a loss to the community that buildings were vacated and the jobs moved out of town, but we got to benefit in having this wonderful new space because of it.
What needed to be done to turn this space into a police station?
There was a lot that was done, and some of it was because of turning it into a police station, but more of the work that we did had to do with just the fact that the building was old and it needed to be updated. But we did a lot of improvements, like replacing the roof and all new floor coverings, new drop ceilings, and all new mechanicals, the heating, air conditioning, electrical systems. That was all completely upgraded. We put a garage in the back where we can bring police cars inside. That wasn't there at all. And we also added locker rooms with showers in the back part of the building. Another one of the things that we have here at this building that we didn't before is an evidence processing and workshop kind of area. Oftentimes we bring evidence back from a crime scene that has to be processed. Sometimes we're working with fingerprint powder, and things can be dirty and make a mess on desks. We used to have to spread newspaper out on our desks to do things like that and try to contain the dirt. Now we have an area for that where we keep our supplies and do that kind of work right there. We also have a lot better security here now. We have cameras around the outside and the public spaces inside the building. We have a room with training tables, and the space in there can accommodate up to about 19 people. We also added the public restroom out front here where you came in. There was no bathroom facility at all in that part of the building, so that was a big change that we made.
How is this new space better than what you had before?
Well, Daniel, we have separation of spaces for different things that go on. One of the things that is really nice about this space, if you remember from where you came in, In the lobby out front, there was a comfortable place to sit. There was a transaction window where you could talk to the receptionist, and there was a little interview room off the side where a police officer could come out and take you to sit down and talk. And we didn't have anything like that where we were before. People would come in to visit us like you did, and they would have to stand at a counter, a door cut in half with a counter on it in a hallway. And there was also no different entrance for people like you coming in versus people who might be coming in handcuffs with a police officer escorting them would come in the same place. So we have a better separation of spaces and the ability to accommodate all the different kinds of things that go on here.
Are there any future plans for this space?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are anticipating in the very near future a merger of two police departments. The Boyertown Police Department, who we are today here, and the Colbertdale Township Police Department are going to be merging in the near future. And what I mean by that is we're going to combine and create one joint police department called a regional police department to serve the combined area. And we will all be housed and working together out of this space.
Does this station have a jail cell?
Well, Daniel Tiger, we have a room that we call a detention room. It's kind of like a jail cell, but it probably doesn't look like what you think of as a jail cell. Daniel, would you like to see the detention room?
Is it scary?
I don't think you'll find it scary, but we could go in together if you like.
This is not at all like I imagined. I thought it would have bars and be cold and scary. Do you get scared having to chase bad people?
The job of a police officer can be scary at times, Daniel, but you know, anything that you haven't done before can be scary. And when it comes to being a police officer, there's just so much more about the job than chasing bad people. That's a very small part of what police officers do. We spend a lot of our time talking to people about their problems in the community and trying to find solutions to things. And so much of what we do is talking to people and trying to help them come together and talk about solutions to their differences and learning how to get along better with one another.
Oh, hi, Charlie. I guess that means it's time for us to go. Thank you so much for showing us around, Chief Leatherman.
You're very welcome, Lady Aberlin. It was my pleasure. It was nice to meet you. And Daniel, it was very nice to meet you also, and I hope you know now that there's nothing scary about the police station or police officers.
Thank you, Police Chief Leatherman. I feel so much better now.
Bye, Charlie. Did you ever feel better about something once you've talked to somebody about it? I know I sure do, especially when I talk about progress. I wonder who that could be. Why, it's Handyman Negri. What a nice surprise.
Nice to see you, Mr. Rogers.
Hello, Joe. Come on in.
I was just in the neighborhood, and I decided to bring this video of a oil and propane business in the neighborhood. They're celebrating their 90th anniversary and have made some extensive renovations.
Wow, 90 years? That's a lot of time. I bet they made a lot of great progress over the past 90 years.
They sure have, Mr. Rogers.
Well, let's bring the video on over to picture. So what's the name of the company?
The company is Boyertown Oil and Propane on 865 North Reading Avenue. I'll show you all about it here on this tape.
Is that a beta tape?
You better believe it is. There's an outside shot of the business. They employ 20 people at the Boyertown branch, but their parent company, Rhodes Energy, has over 150 employees, serving southeastern and central Pennsylvania under 6 different brands.
Wow, that's a lot of people. What types of jobs do they do?
Well, some of them are customer service techs, service employees, drivers and supervisors, just to name a few.
I see. Who's that?
That's Heather Stamen, who is the brand marketing manager for the company.
She looks really friendly.
She was. She explained to me how the company got started.
So in 1930, Russell Clemmer and Augustus Gresh started delivering heating oil and providing high-quality service to their neighbors. We were originally located where the Dollar General is today at 230 South Reading Avenue, and then we moved to the building where we currently are in 1972.
Well, what kind of services does the company provide now?
That's funny that you asked that, Mr. Rogers, because Heather explained that to me while I was there.
We'll deliver heating oil, propane. We also are a natural gas utility. We also do service and installation of heating and cooling equipment. So a lot of people think of us as just an oil company, but we're more than that. So we do natural gas, we do propane. So central air conditioning systems, heat pumps. We work with builders to build homes with using propane, since there's 7 different ways to use propane in a home, and a lot of people only use it for home heating.
Well, I have to know, Mr. Negri, what are the 7 different ways to use propane?
Heather told me about that too.
So the 7 ways to use propane in your home are home heating, water heating, laundry, cooking, standby generation, outdoor living, and then fireplaces.
The building that we're standing in was originally built in 1972 and had dark brown wood paneling, orange countertops, dim lighting, and basically hadn't been touched for over 45 years. So they did a complete renovation of the office and added LED lighting, new furniture, new cubicles, new ceilings and carpeting, new HVAC and wiring. They painted all the paneling to a lighter color, and they even removed a wall to make the office more open and customer friendly.
It really came out nice, Mr. Negri.
It sure did. Before I left, Heather shared how Boyertown Oil and Propane plans to keep supporting the community.
So we're continuing to educate our market that we are more than just an oil company, so we do service all types of heating equipment. We also are pretty active in the community, and we're continuing to do that, so supporting a lot of the local organizations from the United Way to the Multi-Service to the Music League, and also helping to volunteer within our communities, so to educate all of the consumers that we give back in the community that we live and work in.
That was very interesting, Mr. Negri. Thank you for sharing that video and letting us see the progress that Boyertown Oil and Propane is making.
You're very welcome, Mr. Rogers. I knew you'd enjoy it. Well, I got to be getting back to my music shop now, but I'll see you later.
Bye, Mr. Negri. Wasn't that a special treat seeing Handyman Negri? Who knew there were so many ways to use propane? Well, I can tell it is getting close to dinner because I'm getting hungry again. How would you like to see another new restaurant in my neighborhood? This one is called Grind, and it's located not far from here on 45 South Reading Avenue. Come along with me. Hi, are you the owner?
Yes, I'm Keith Kathicki. Nice to meet you.
I'm Mr. Rogers. I'm here today with my television neighbors to come and see the new restaurant.
Excellent. Well, why don't we go take a seat and we can talk about it. Mr. Rogers, how about we take a seat here?
That sounds good, thank you. Wow, Keith, I love what you did with the place. Can you explain to me what went into restoring the restaurant to its current condition?
The building was sitting vacant for about 8 or 9 years. Before that, it was previously known for many years in Boyertown, 30, 40, 50 years as Schaefer's family restaurant. It was a diner. But in those last few years, the building kind of was vacant and became in a bad condition. So when I purchased it back in August of 2018, pretty much everything needed to be redone. We had to redo the roof, redo all of the floors, the bathrooms, even the kitchen had to be completely re-equipped. And then after that, we tried to maintain as many of the original aspects as possible. Like the water wheel that everyone knows in Boyertown is still there. We left the wooden walls in the covered bridge room. Most of the things in here are handmade, from our chandeliers to our curtains. Even all the laser engraved decorations on the wall we personally made. So we tried to put our touch as much as possible.
When did you officially open?
We officially opened, I believe it was the first week of December, and since then we've been going pretty strong.
What type of food do you specialize in, and how did you come up with the menu?
We're Northern Italian Mediterranean style food, which means it's a lot of meats and seafoods, not the traditional American Italian that people think of with pizza, spaghetti, and meatballs. And our menu, I collaborated with Josh Pennington. He's a huge inspiration in the menu. He also is the one responsible for all the recipes behind it. His palate's phenomenal.
Who came up with the decor?
Again, that was a collaboration between me and Josh Pennington. Everything from the color scheme, to the handmade decorations, to choosing the floor, redoing the ceilings. We really put a lot of time and thought into envisioning exactly what you want with a rustic, industrial kind of farmhouse feel.
How did you come up with the name Grind?
Grind actually comes from our gourmet signature meatballs. All of our meats here are fresh, never frozen, freshly ground. It comes from that.
So what hours are you open?
We're open every day. Sunday through Thursday, we're open from 11 a.m. until at least 11 p.m. Kitchen closes at 10. Friday and Saturdays, the bar is open until at least 12. Kitchen again closes at 10 o'clock.
Can you show me around a little bit?
Absolutely. Before we go anywhere, this is actually, you're sitting in our private party room where we do a lot of private functions, and we also use this for overflow seating on Friday and Saturdays. But we can also head over to our main dining area with our bar. So here's our bar. We had to install this. Schaefer's never had a bar here previously, no liquor license, so this is all brand new. We have a bourbon whiskey bar, which we feature 40, working on 50, and eventually up to 60 bottles of bourbon and whiskey for bourbon flights and tastings. Behind us here is also our main dining room. This is where we do all of our main seatings during the week. One of the big things here is we actually have these large community tables we have in the middle to break up the room. It also allows people to come in and be able to sit with each other and talk rather than everyone just sitting at their own tables on their phones and not mingling.
So I'm not much of a drinker, but I notice you have a bakery out front.
Absolutely, let's go take a look.
Sure.
So this here is our bakery area, and eventually hopefully our coffee bar as well. We may also bring in a juice bar, but this is where all of our homemade fresh desserts are kept and served. We'll also have our eventually a gourmet coffee and espresso machine up here. Our vision is eventually to have this room open before the restaurant even does. If people want to swing by, get a coffee on the way to work, pick up a quick takeout or some dessert, that was the vision for this room. Would you be interested in trying one of our fresh made donuts?
That would be fantastic, thank you. That's delicious. Well, thank you very much for the tour, and I wish you and Josh continued success.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in.
Wow, I am so lucky to live in such a nice neighborhood with such amazing progress. Let's feed the fish. Alrighty then, there we go. I wonder who's at my door now.
Speedy delivery, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely again.
I just came back from Everything Printing, and I saw that they had one of your mail advertisements ready, so I thought I'd come and show you.
Wow, that was fast. Wow, it looks wonderful. I can't wait to order more of these to send out to my neighborhood.
I'm sure you'll get a lot of gigs from that.
I bet I will.
Well, unfortunately, I have to go. I have a tight schedule. Speedy delivery.
Bye, Mr. McFeely. This really does give me a good feeling. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside, and when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling, a feeling you know that I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll share more progress with you, and you'll have things that you'll want to talk about. I will too. You always make each day such a special day. You know how? Just by you being you. I'll be back next time. Bye-bye.